There isn't going to be a clever introduction or snide remark on this one. I think we just kind of need to hit the ground running. Princess Wing is a unique game with a unique pitch, because at the end of the day, you're saying you're a bunch of magical schoolgirls, except the real magic is ultra-violence, and our mech dresses is going to be kind of a make or break it for you. We've actually talked about the dev before with Kizenites, but this is his magnum opus, you could say, which he cares about the most. It even has a full expansion in Valkyrie Island. But a quick rundown on the lore. We're being invaded by robotic death machines from probably hell, trying to eradicate our existence. The only thing we can do to fight to survive. Poorly. But we have managed to start to push them back just a little bit with the power of precious energy in the dress code, empowering girls with a pure heart and noble intentions to push back the void. With love, friendship, and high caliber firearms, you are now playing the next generation of princesses, trying to build your precious energy to fight against the encroaching nightmare in mech suits? Power armor? How do you describe this? Power mech dress suit armor? Fuck it, you're gonna look good doing it regardless. But what's the game like? This is where things get complicated, because Princess Wing is very Japanese in its design. Very rigid cycles, clear start, middle, and end, and everything else. But the dice, Notepad, the dice! It uses cards. You'll need a full deck, but things get odd here, so let's make a quick character. First thing we have to do is pick our Princess Core and armaments. The Princess Core is kind of like our class. Let's take Rapunzel. It has 45 hit points, 15 technical points, a strike speed of 6, and a move of 2. We also get the Rapid Alacrity Transformation, a variation that we can switch to during the middle of battle for a quick 1-2 punch. A Sleeping Beauty, on the other hand, has a bit more armor and less technically demanding, mostly because we're supposed to dive kick the enemy as a glowing death machine. Then we pick 3 special techniques. Each one of these gives us more options, firepower, and just toys to play with. Finally, we're going to pick 4 armaments in our right, left, top, and bottom, topping it all off with a wing drive, our final ultimate super duper awesome technique, which usually has us go super princess mode. So our final form may look like this. As you can kind of see, the character really isn't all complicated at the end of the day. But then we get to life tags. There are 13 life tags which define our character, which we'll either roll or choose from. These are really only used for role-playing and investigation. From there, we're ready to go. The GM draws a handful of cards from a jokerless deck, then reshuffles the jokers in for the players to draw 7 cards each. The cycle of the main game is introduction, investigation, interlude, combat, and actually a pretty rigid order. Investigation is by far the weakest part of the game, which is a confusing set of bartering and exchanging with the GM over interpreting what life tags mean and cycling your cards out. The expansion actually adds a brand new innovative idea to fix investigation, removing it entirely, and the game is better for it. The investigation leads into the interlude. What cards we have in hand can now be swapped and traded around, fixing up our hand for the inevitable fisticuffs of combat. Combat takes place on a chessboard flying high above the city, as we're trying to disable and fight the enemy. During our turn, we'll be able to move, a preparation action, and then make an attack. Movement is fairly rigid, literally, as we're trying to avoid slamming into one another as well as our enemies, or we're trying to force a collision with the enemy if we're being assholes. Preparation is mostly about preparing special moves or resolving techniques. Attacks are where things get fun, wonky but fun. Those cards each correspond to one of our arms. So let's say I have a hand of 4 cards. Club 4, diamond 4, heart 5, and a club 6. Not the best, not the worst. We can play our club 4 and use our left armament, a grazing claw, resolving the effect with anyone within range. The target can either attempt to use a counter armament, such as a shield, or they can try to emergency evade, burning the GM's hand equal to the evasion value. These rules also apply to you. Damage doesn't feel very high with 9 to 12 being pretty consistent until you realize that you will take hits and you will start burning cards if you want to really keep. You don't win this attrition war, but there's a funny little note. Remember our hand. We can also spend the diamond 4 to activate a second armament. Comboing different cards together and resolving big strings of attacks while planning out every move is the real heart of the game. Players are kind of stuck into a think tank with their own toys, while the GM is trying to manage their larger hand among a shared number of goons. It creates a pretty tense situation with the combat, where you will both have that rush of Gamblecore and that anime showstopper bullshit when someone busts out a Joker and we spam a cross union for the big team attack or tactical nuclear detonation. After we defeat the enemy, we purify our friend using the investigation system tag thing. It's thematic, but the entire mechanic is kinda lame for what you go through to get there. But let's cut to the chase here. Is Princess Wing good? Yes, it's actually amazingly clever and uses a unique system to tie everything together. Is it a game for a 1,000,000-hour campaign that we can do whatever we want with it? No, absolutely not. It's doing its one thing, and its one thing is really good. The expansion adds more stuff to play around with and expands the gameplay out, though. Will Hayato bust out a new expansion book? Probably not, though. Looks like he's trying to make a sword fighting game now, so that's pretty based in his own way. My name is Notepad, and this was Princess Wing. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And many thanks to the bankers of Missouri City for their continued financial assistance. Precious on!